A corn and soybean farmer, law school grad, state senator, state treasurer, husband, dad, granddad, Boone County property owner. That's all the same person, and I set it up that way because it all shapes Tom Briese's point of view. We talked extensively about property taxes, and we'll get to what he sees as the fix, but we start with the problem. What would you like to see? What does a healthy picture look like?
Well, I spent 7 years in the legislature, and my focus every year of those 7 years was on property tax relief and reform. And we had several successes in there. We had LB 1107, we had, I believe it was LB 873, we had LB 243, and so we did make some progress. But there is much work to be done. Unfortunately, we rely far too heavily in Nebraska on property taxes to fund local government.
And when you say local government, it's mostly school districts.
Yes, predominantly, roughly on average, 60% of property taxes are for school systems, supportive school systems, school districts.
He described property taxes as taking a toll on economic growth, saying the state's reliance is unreasonable and unsustainable.
And what the governor and Senator Linehan and the Revenue Committee are trying to do is to inject more fairness into that tax structure.
Briese would like to see more of a third approach, where property, income, and sales taxes are close to equal. It's proposed in Lincoln to change Nebraska's sales tax from 5.5% to 6.5%.
Naysayers complain suggesting it's a tax increase. And that's baloney. It's not a tax increase. It's revenue neutral textbook tax reform. You know, every politician in the state wants to talk about property tax relief and the need for it, but what are you willing to do?
What's the cost to Nebraska overall if property taxes aren't addressed?
You go try to hire somebody from out of state. We have a workforce crisis in our state. So we try to bring in folks to our state, and when they start looking around at housing and they see that maybe 30 to 40% of their house payment can be property taxes, well, you've got a little bit of an uphill climb trying to recruit them to Nebraska. It's decision time in the legislature, and I would encourage all my former colleagues to get with the governor on this and get Nebraskans the relief and reform that they need.
Briese was appointed by Governor Pillen and has been in his role as treasurer for about 3.5 months. I asked if he planned to run when the time comes in 2026, and he confirmed he does.